Hello, Wambui here. Welcome to 70 Years and Beyond. Today we're going to take a nice soothing trip back down memory lane to talk about healthcare and what we did to stay healthy and what our mothers did whenever we felt sick. Right now I'm sitting here holding a jar of Vicks VapoRub, as it is called today. Do you remember when this was Vicks VapoRub? It's the same product. That very heavy mentholy smell. But now they call it Vicks VapoRub. And I question the name and people say, no, it was always Vicks VapoRub. But does anybody remember when this was Vicks Vapor with an R, Vicks VapoRub? If you do, let me know, because there are people who want to make me think that I'm losing my mind. But I swear it was Vicks VapoRub back in the day. And this was our go-to. This was, whenever we had a stuffy nose, congestion, a flu, a cold, a runny nose, this was our go-to. My mother, or if we were at our grandmother would rub it on, or our mother would rub our necks and rub our chests and our shoulders, sometimes around in our back. Just put this all over and then wrap it in a towel, sometimes underneath your pajamas. Oh my goodness, it was almost making being sick worth it. I still love this today. Then there was the aspirin. My mother thought aspirins were the cure-all to everything. Once you had your Vicks VapoRub and she'd get the aspirins she would give, she used to think that aspirins were good for anxiety. When I was a teenager, I was prone toward depression, but at that time, we didn't call it depression. So my mother would just say, we got to get your mood back up, so go in there and take an aspirin. Then once a year in the springtime, we would take not castor oil. We never really took that. We took something called CASTORIA. Does anybody remember CASTORIA? It was a very dark, like brown-black liquid, and it had some little seedy things in it, and it was just awful. And my mother would line us up to give us our tablespoonful of CASTORIA. And I did not want to take that thing. I did not want that, but I was not going to be able to go on with my life if I didn't just go ahead and take it, because she was not going to not let me take it. So I eventually take down that CASTORIA, and it was a once a year thing that was, as she would say, would clean us out. And then other than that, there was honey and tea, and of course Lutten's cough drops was a big thing that we would have whenever we had a tickly throat or sore throat. Lutten's little red cough drops. Does anybody remember those? The Luttens? I think they still make those too, right? So we, by the grace of God, never had any major illnesses as children. By the grace of God, we never even had none of us had a broken arm, broken leg, anything like that. Never went to the doctor. If somebody said something about going to the doctor, then you knew it. They were probably thinking you might die, because we never went to the doctor. I went to the doctor only for vaccinations. But it wasn't like the contrast between then and today is in my whole childhood, I only remember at the most 5 or 6 vaccines. Not like today where these kids, oh God, I've some 40, 50, 60 vaccines in their whole childhood career. Oh my goodness, it breaks my heart, because I only remember getting, like I said, when I look at my card that my mother saved from my vaccines, it was only about, at the most, 6 vaccines, if that. And I remember when we went to Dr. Rubin, my childhood doctor was named Dr. Rubin, to get our vaccines. Every now and then, nurses would come around to the schools to basically just check on us and to try to educate us about our health and what we should do. I do remember one time a nurse or a dentist came along with these little red pills, and that was to help us to understand where we were missing in our brushing, that type of thing. Other than that, there was tea and honey, of course, and our grandparents just got things from the garden in their yards to mix up little potions to help keep us healthy and keep us well. We didn't run to the doctor, as I said, for hardly anything. I believe one time my brother, I think it was the same brother, but I believe one time my brother was running with a jar of marbles, fell down, had to go, of course, get that hand looked at. And then one time, because of a congestion that was so bad, one of my brothers ended up in the hospital for a few days. But like I said, by the grace of God, we were blessed to be healthy, and it seemed like the elders always seem to know what to do to bring your fever down or to help you get through whatever you were going through. I remember being home with the mumps. I remember having chickenpox. I remember having measles. What else? So I remember being home with all of these so-called childhood diseases, and we never really just thought anything about them. The parents at that time used to look forward to everybody getting it so that you'd be over it. So that, okay, you got the chickenpox, well, maybe you'll get chickenpox too, and then you'll get them and you'll get them, and we will have done that. And so I remember parents thinking like that. So these are just some of my thoughts and memories about our childhood illnesses and how we got through things. What are some of your stories, and what were your go-to medications or go-to concoctions that maybe your parents had for you when you were sick? To this day, here at 74 years old, I still love this VaporRub, although I'll always remember it as VaporRub.